I'm going to give hopefully not too long introduction to the day and an introduction to a little bit what we've been doing on DAFNI. So a little bit of introduction, and particular introduction to the theme of the day. So it was just over a year ago we last met at our last conference in Manchester. That was a kind of first stepping out into the world after COVID. It was a bit of a kind of experiment. It was a hybrid event. I think it worked very well. Really nice to see everybody there. We had a theme at that time is looking at the impact of the environment, because there's a number of projects we are involved with. We're looking at the effect of the environment on infrastructure and vice versa, and looking towards things like net zero. So that was a really great event. Really good to see you then. Now here we are at Imperial, and we have a different but related theme: building a secure and resilient world. And this theme is we're not. It's obviously related to the last theme, and we're still carrying the last theme, but this is one that's become increasingly salient over the last year and involved, and a program that we've started to get involved with that I'll introduce in this talk. The whole inspiration behind DAFNI is the observation that in the UK we do really great research. There's lots and lots of projects across different departments producing different computational models and systems to support exploration of how infrastructure develops in all kinds of different aspects. I won't go through these ones on these slides. These are some examples from partners of systems. But these tend to be, certainly historically, they tend to have some of this sort of, they tend to attach to projects. They're in particular research groups. They don't necessarily scale up, and they don't necessarily last a long time. Bridget mentioning models outlasting their lifetime. Well, some of these tools can have use over many years, but they might be restricted by the project lifetime they're in. So the observation is, wouldn't it be great that we could find a place to host these, give them a bit more computing power, have them last longer than the lifetime of a project, and particularly make them available for collaboration with each other. So this is where the DAFNI project came from. So DAFNI, the Data Analytics Facility for National Infrastructure, about providing a computing platform to help research and decision making. So those models can come on the platform and have that kind of be shareable and have that legacy. And it was a partnership of 12 universities from a consortium at the time in 2017, which was formed a new consortium called UCRIC, the UK Laboratorium for Research in Infrastructure and Cities. So these are our partners who are, so it's not just the partner universities and the COIs and the members of the governing board that are currently involved in DAFNI from across the university sector. And then those universities approached us at STFC to help build and host this platform as a central point within the Research Council community. Our role within the Research Council community is to support large-scale computing infrastructure. So that's why we got involved as STFC Scientific Computing Department. And so the idea behind DAFNI is to form a collaborative platform. We have a computing platform underneath, which we provide that kind of scaling and provide that hosting and execution environment. But it's the collaboration that we really want to enhance and encourage, supporting scientific modelers in their collaboration so they can come to the platform, they can work together on their codes, they work together on their problems, they can bring their data together, they can make new connections, new collaborations to further their research in their projects and beyond the lifetime of their project, have transparency and reproducibility. I think it's a very important point with Bridget mentioning the long time list of codes and not knowing where the things came from. We try to build that provenance in from the start, so you can trace and reproduce your executions, and then to be able to disseminate those results beyond your immediate collaborators to a wider environment, to your wider stakeholder communities, to other researchers and to decision makers outside your organisation. So this is the kind of aims of the platform. This is kind of the DAFNI functionality in one slide. So there's login, which there's a role-based, there's a sort of group-based access control system underneath it, providing that kind of level of security. There's a way of accessing data with good metadata, so people can upload their data, and then they can use the data catalog to search for that data. There is similarly a model catalog. So one of the key aspects of the platform is you can build your model locally using your own environment, your own programming languages, your own libraries, your own operating systems, package it up using containerization techniques, and upload it into the system. And well, within some limits, you should be able to execute it in the DAFNI platform. So it gives that model independence and ease of using other people's models, because in the one environment. And then you can tie your models together into workflows to build this kind of systems of systems models. So you can combine your floating model with a built environment model from somewhere else and see the results. And then we provide some visualization tools, particularly around Jupyter notebooks, for producing the visualizations of results. Bethany in a later talk is giving a little bit more detail where we are with some of these things. And just one example, sort of a recent example we've been doing in the last year of a team that's been using the platform is the team from UCL, led by Liz Varga and Vangelia Manola, looking at a shipping model. So this is a model where it comes from an observation that global shipping, which is responsible for quite a lot of CO2 in the world, is not necessarily the most efficient. People tend to have this practice known as steam fast then wait. So they go directly to their point of destination and then wait outside the port to be for the port to be available for them to use. It's not necessarily the most efficient. So what this is trying to do is sort of real-time tracking or close to real-time tracking of ships, and then calculating a more efficient route in terms of fuel, which saves them cost and saves them money and saves them CO2, and then can transmit back to the ship to kind of propose a better route for them if they want to take it. So it's, and that's now on the platform, running that and linked up through to the feeds. Okay, so that's just one example of what we've been doing in the last year. So, as a brief picture, we're giving demos for a more complete picture. If you want more technical overview later, during the day, in the breaks, in the coffee area. So if you want to go and have a look at the platform, talk to the tech team who are just about all here. They're all here, so they're wearing their T-shirts. So just collar one of those and start and ask them about the platform. Okay, so now moving on to the DAFNI's Centre of Excellence for Resilience Infrastructure Analysis, which is our new program. This is from a new program that UKRI, UK Research and Innovation, have started over the last year, called Building a Secure and Resilient World. Which is a whole stream program of investment from UKRI, looking at, well, it's as it said here, strengthening social and urban resilience. And this is very timely. It's very much in the forefront of government thinking that resilience should be a real focus of what we do. And last December, the government published this UK government resilience framework, so their policy response to how the UK should respond to shocks of climate, of economic shocks, of pandemic shocks, of geopolitical instability, all these different shocks we likely get in our environment, and how infrastructure and other parts of the society should prepare for shocks. So obviously a very, very relevant theme, but and then to kind of think about a little bit more about what we really mean by resilience, I kind of refer to this report from the National Infrastructure Commission, which came out in 2020, called Anticipate, React and Recover, and it gives this quite nice breakdown of what you need to do, of the aspects of resilience you need to look at. You need to think about how you anticipate shocks on a system, how you then, so you can assess the risk and prepare, you then resist, so so in event of a shock, how do you then stop the shock making any damage? Absorb the shock so that the damage can be mitigated in various ways. Recover so you can get back onto your feet very quickly, and then adapt and transform. So then you can learn from your experience and make changes for the better next time. So if you're looking at resilience and you're doing research resilience, you want to be able to think about all these different aspects. So we proposed within this program, a program that Christine is going to be talking about in much more detail later, we proposed to set up a Centre of Excellence for Resilience Infrastructure Analysis, which is a centre to use computational modelling to help us to explore resilience issues, both from short-term shocks, so a flood event or a heat event or emergency response, but also long-term shocks potentially, so the effects adaptations to climate change or demographic change over time. And the motivation behind this, I think, really comes quite clear when you look at this example called Credo, which some of you may have heard about. It's a project that we've been involved with over the last couple of years, now led by the Collective Places Catapult, also involving our Hartree Centre and others. And this is looking at the response of a town or a district to a flood event, but rather looking at one aspect of infrastructure, it's combining different aspects of infrastructure. So it's combining the water supply infrastructure, the energy infrastructure, and the telecommunications infrastructure all at once. So you're not just considering the effects on one, but also the interrelationships between them. So if one part of the power network comes down, that has an effect on the water system. And then you can trace those together. So it models the town, models the flood. Incidentally, the flood model is from a pre-existing piece of research that's been done, a pre-existing model we had on DAFNI. So that's reuse of research, and then overlaying this network of the relationships between assets, so you can see what the knock-on effects between things. And this is and this is really kind of demonstrated all the kinds of things we need to do for resilience. This is part of a resilience assessment and stress testing, so we can apply the best research for modelling to analyse computational impact of shocks. So we don't need to actually do it in practice. We can test it in silicon and try to measure and assess what the resilience is, and then apply mitigations, adaptations, so that we can try and help to alleviate the risk. And then this codependency. One of the big parts of this is that codependency, so you do this systems approach, but then you get into data sharing issues, and sharing between different institutes, different companies was a challenge, and so you have to set up data sharing agreements between them, and bringing everything onto one place is actually proved very useful for that. And then we want to look at the impact of other areas on the resilience scenario. Particularly, you're going to change the built environment over time, you're going to build in new places, the demographic and economic environment's going to change, and the environmental conditions are going to change over time. So you want to be able to rerun your model to adapt to all those different things. So we had these original objectives, provide a centre of expertise to support the whole programme in computational modelling, provide a collection of resources, both data and models, to further, so they can be shared and enabled further research, provide demonstrators to explore resilience, and to engage with the wider stakeholder community. Now, this is not something we can do as a core team at STFC all by ourselves. We need to really engage the whole research community and the wider community to do this. So we set up a recent research programme which to draw in the community to support us in these aims. And we had three particular areas we were particularly interested in. Firstly, bringing in key models, so we can provide this portfolio of useful models that people can use and reuse in their scenarios. Secondly, providing a resilience framework, so how do we test and assess and measure the resilience of our systems? so tools for helping us do that. And then some resilience scenarios, so research demonstrators of particular resilience in practice. So we did a research call, total fund of 1.4 million for 18 months. So we've just announced the successful projects from this call. These are all the projects. I won't go through them. We have talks through the day. We have sessions where each one of these new projects is going to present what they're planning to do over the next couple of years. So I hope you will attend them. So then there's sort of how we're going to go from here. These projects then start in October, so we're going to be supporting them in the central team and helping them getting them going and operating and working together. We'll also be working with other projects in the programme. There's a research and coordination hub that's being called for at the moment, and then planning an event, including next year's conference. And one thing that we are keen on is to extend the coverage. We're kind of aware that quite a few of the projects are covering some areas of infrastructure, but not others so well. So we are thinking of setting up some future workshops and potentially some sandpits, particularly in areas like transport, energy, and possibly telecommunications. And we may be able to set up some small exploratory feasibility studies from that, some just small amounts of funding we might be able to do to extend the scope of what we're doing. So finally, come and talk to us. DAFNI is free for UK researchers to use who are working in the area. We also find us in JES. We're happy to give trial accounts and talk to non-academic people as well. We're happy to talk about research grants, so do talk to us, or you can register with DAFNI on our login directly through our registration page. So thank you very much. I hope you have a great day.